All right, my friends. I just pressed the Let's Go Live button, which means we've got to wait for the stream to fire up all across the fruited plain of the interwebs before we go ahead and get started. Got to make sure those tubes are working. Sometimes they don't work, especially when we've been out of the chair for a couple days. But it looks like I'm seeing green check marks. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. It looks like we are alive and well. That's tremendous news. We can go ahead and get started. So let's do it, shall we? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Watching the Watchers Live, the show that spotlights misconduct involving police, prosecutors, and politicians. My name is Robert Gouveia. I am a criminal defense attorney, and today we're talking about Hunter Biden's guilty verdict, and that is now 3 felonies against Team Hunty Poo. So that is the big news of the day. It was breaking all this morning. We talked about it at length on Locals when it was fresh out of the oven, but there's been a lot of reaction in the aftermath. In fact, we got a lot more to unpack here. We got the verdict form, which is now available for the public to see, and we'll go through it. And there's a lot of reaction to this. There's mixed feelings from yours truly about this, because some Republicans out there are explaining that this is kind of dumb and stupid. And okay, that might be true, but still, it's the only thing we're going to get out of this DOJ. All right. So maybe we should not delegitimize it so much. So we'll talk about that. We also are going to take a look at the verdict, the exhibits sheet that got finally filed on the docket after the verdict came down. So we'll just do a quick summary of what some of the evidence was that led to this verdict. And I'll be honest, I was surprised by it. I was asking myself, well, we'll get there. We got a whole segment about this. All right, so relax, Rob. You're getting ahead of yourself. All right, so that's coming up. We got this video, Hunter's leaving court, blowing kisses to everybody. Love you, sorry. Is daddy going to pardon me? We'll see. And reaction from Hunter, Abby Lowell, his attorney, and President Biden himself. Now, something happened over there at the White House in Washington, D.C. After this verdict came out, there was a big adjustment. They put it into reverse and shifted gears. And now Biden is going home back to Delaware. So they had a whole evening planned. And lo and behold, after the verdict came down, Joe Biden is now changing plans. So he's picking up. He's going back to take care of Hunter. And this might be a serious thing. You know, we don't want Hunter to relapse and go down a spiral again and be in rehab for the 115th time. That would be terrible. Oh, no. So Joe's going to go home to take care of the smartest man he knows. And I don't know, we'll leave that alone. But also, they canceled the press briefing. So Karine was supposed to come out here and try to explain this. Wait a minute. Karine, you are telling me that the president's son got convicted of a gun charge at the same hour, give or take a couple hours, as the president's speech at an anti-gun convention. Karine be like, no, I defer to everybody except myself. And so they just said, we're canceling. Cancel the whole thing. So that's not going to happen. That did not happen today. And Joe Biden did go speak at this gun safety event. And boy, oh boy, we have a bumbling, stumbling, demented president. If you had any doubts about it, well, you don't have any doubts about it because we got rid of that a long time ago. So we'll just watch another example of it, I guess. So we got all that coming up. Reaction. David Weiss, the special counsel, came out. And he gave us about a 3-minute speech about no one's above the law, which is hilarious. So they're going to parlay this rigged charge. Okay, remember, Weiss didn't want this to come out in the first place. There was a non-prosecution agreement that he was finagling until the whistleblowers, Shapley and Ziegler, came out, blew the lid off this whole thing. I'll get into that again, I'm sure. But Weiss came out, he spoke. It's Trump propaganda. Even when Joe Biden's son gets a guilty verdict, he still comes out and says no one's above the law. Yes, they are. Hunter is above the law, even with this verdict, because this was a traffic ticket in a manslaughter DUI. So a juror came out, jurors running their mouth all over the place, was speaking on with CNN and a bunch of other places. I saw a bunch of clips. So we'll jip in on it and see how it sounds. Trump reacted to this, and we'll see what he said. There was a fake note going around. Somebody wrote it from Trump. We read it this morning. We were all a little confused. Somebody was asking, is that sarcasm? I don't know what the hell that was. Turns out it was fake. That's why we didn't know what was going on. So turns out this is the real statement. We'll see what Trump said, and then we'll listen to this from Weissman. He's calling Joe Biden the living embodiment of the rule of law. I'm not joking. That's the clip. I haven't listened to it yet, but I saw that in the tweet. So we'll listen to it together for the first time and see what's inside. But yeah, Joe Biden is the living embodiment of the rule of law. Amazing, amazing. I don't know if he actually believes that or if he's just joking on us. He might be just joking on us at this point. Jason Smith, bunch of other people in Congress had some reaction to this, and we'll flip through some of them and see what you think about all that in the first segment coming up. So we got actually a lot more than I thought. This morning, I thought, we're going to be kind of done with this story, but no, here we are. There's a lot to unpack. So we'll see what's inside. And then we have to ask ourselves about pardons. And he's got another trial coming up in September. Garrett Ziegler is going to go to that one. So it's going to be a lot of interesting things for the Biden crime family ahead. Then we're going to turn our attention, a little bit of heavy lifting on this one because we got a 29 pager to go through, but I'm looking forward to it because this is another motion to dismiss from Trump. He submitted one previously that was just denied. You probably saw a bunch of headlines on that. Judge Cannon denied his motion to dismiss. And by the way, that's very common. The likelihood that we're going to wake up and the case is dismissed because of this is slim to none. Now, we're hopeful that maybe it will be. Maybe it's going to be on Jack Smith's appointment or something like that. But motions to dismiss a criminal case based on really anything are rarely granted. It's just almost never happens. So here is Trump's latest attempt. And this one is very curious because it's about the destruction of exculpatory evidence, evidence that, as we know, will tend to exonerate, tend to show the innocence of the person who has been charged with a crime. So the FBI, and not only the FBI, but the DOJ as well, evidently destroyed evidence. We've already known that they were shuffling the boxes around with all those classified documents. They're like, oh yeah, Trump, you mishandled classified documents. Let us show you what real mishandling looks like. And Jay Bratt, who's like 4'3", shaking this box up and mishandling classified documents himself. So we'll go through that. Now, I don't know if it's just that or if it's much more because we got 29 pages. We'll go through it. And man, I love those. All right. So then in our final segment, you may have seen this story breaking. Over the weekend, there was a new video that got dropped by Congress. The oversight or subcommittee on whatever, there's many of them now, but one of them just dropped this new video. That's Pelosi driving in the back of the car on January 6th with her mask, and her daughter, granddaughter, whatever the hell that person was, is now filming her, and she's going around. Remember, she was threatening Trump. I'd like to punch him in the face if he were here right now, and all that stuff from Pelosi. Like, okay, Nancy, relax. So she apparently in this video is saying that she was responsible for the security. And we all said, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what we've been saying here for a long time. In fact, Stephen Son, Capitol Hill chief of police, said the same thing. Yeah, that's right, Nancy. Yeah, because you were the Speaker of the House at the time. Oh, yeah. So she admits it. We know that they were dragging their feet on it. The sergeant at arms for the House was doing the same thing. Stephen Son was calling them. You want me to do something about this? Could I have permission to do something about this? Do you authorize this? Yes or no? And she's just driving around with her face mask on. So now the video comes out, confirms what we all knew and thought, that she was responsible for this. And as Mollie Hemingway, who's been digging on this for a long time, is being totally vindicated today. Shout out to Mollie Hemingway, because she wrote an article on this. She was digging through the transcript some time ago, back in March of this year. And it turns out that there's video to support this claim that Liz Cheney and the fake J6 committee that's illegally constituted, even by their own rules, HR 503, are behind a cover-up. They did not want this material to come out as part of their 8-part series book report by that dumb producer from Hollywood. So we'll go through that. And now Pelosi's coming out. How many eyebrows does she have today? Well, yeah, just one, I think. And that's the eyeshadow. That's the gap. That's the eyelid. Okay, yeah. Sometimes she has 2 or 3 eyebrows, but only one today. Pretty good. Good lighting today, I guess. So she goes on damage control. She goes, I am not an insurrectionist. Stop it with your revisionist history, okay? Our democracy was under attack, and I wasn't really responsible for anything. So she's trying to figure this out, and we'll see what she says in that final and third segment. And so, my friends, I am grateful that you are here and with us today. I hope you had an incredible weekend. As you may have seen yesterday, we were leaving Vegas. I had a great event, met some awesome people, came away with some great ideas. A lot of it was about community building, having more impact, learning about the operations of the interwebs, and a lot of details there. So I had a lot of fun, learned a bunch of stuff. One of the things that I'm also learning about is how to host and put on events. A lot of people there do very, very big events and big stages and lights and AV and all the stuff. We're not quite there yet. But we do have a meetup, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we got some good stuff in store. I was just talking to Mama G. She's asking me, how many meatballs should we have? I said, well, I don't know. We got to see how many people are RSVPing. I said, just keep cranking them out, Mama. Keep pumping those meatballs out. And she said, I'm on it, Rob. So she's getting that done. Because on June 29, 2024, this year at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, 2 days after the first presidential debate on a Saturday, we're meeting up at Trump Hotel, Las Vegas. We'd love it if you joined us. Go to watcherlodge.com. If you've already RSVP'd, you have to get a ticket. It's going to cover your food, going to cover your beverage. We're going to have, I think, some desserts and some other teas and all sorts of, stuff, fancy stuff. It's Trump. It's going to be fancy as heck. So come join us. Watcherlodge.com. Grab your ticket. It's coming up soon, just a couple weeks away. And so make your way over there and join us. It's going to be a ton of fun. All right. And now, with that warm up out of the way, it's good to see you, my friends. Happy Tuesday. Let's get to it on the day. Hunter Biden found guilty. 3 new felonies against the Biden crime family. And it feels like a little bit of a letdown because there should be maybe 300 of them, not just 3. And so we know that this whole thing was rigged from the beginning. In fact, David Weiss, the special counsel who we're going to hear from post-verdict in a minute, he didn't even want this thing to be charged in the first place. He was engineering a non-prosecution agreement pre-indictment, meaning nothing would ever hit the docket. They would just settle this thing out of court, essentially. And then that started to get derailed. Pressure from Ziegler and from Shapley, the IRS whistleblowers, who blew the lid off this whole thing, revealed it to America, and then they couldn't do that anymore. So they worked out a plea deal that essentially was an unspoken immunity deal for Hunter. And when he was about to take that plea deal, the judge called it out, said, we're opening up this little disgusting crevice. And she probably had to put on latex gloves before she did it. But she looked inside of it. And she didn't like what she saw. And she asked Hunter about it. What do you want to do? Because they're saying you don't have clear immunity. Do you want to take the deal? He said no. He should have done it. And we commented on that back then on that day. Because look what happened. He done goofed big time. Now he's got 3 felony convictions. When he's sentenced, it'll ultimately be the final judgment, and he'll be convicted of these. So that is a big mistake from him and his lawyers. The question is it going to matter? Is Daddy just going to come pardon him and take care of it like he's been doing for him his whole life? We'll go through it and see. But we got the verdict form. We got Hunter's statements, Biden's statement, and Biden's canceling everything at the White House to go take care of his family and his crackhead son. And then reaction from Trump coming up, along with some other people from Congress. But let's take a look at this verdict form so we can etch this in to the memory books for future generations and all posterity. Verdict form, the case, United States of America versus Robert Hunter Biden. In the District of Delaware, as to count 1, charging Hunty with making a false statement in connection with the acquisition of a firearm, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. As to count 2, charging the defendant with making a false statement with respect to information required to be kept in records, we, the jury, find the defendant, Hunter Biden, guilty. And as to count 3, charging Hunter with possession of a firearm by a person who is the unlawful user of an addicted or controlled substance, we, the jury, find Hunter, the defendant, guilty. And that is the 3 charges. Now, all right, okay, that's fine. We got these 3 little red light tickets. Hunter blew through an intersection, took out an entire family on their way to church. He was on crack 10 in the morning. Bodies all over the place. Hunter somehow survives. Red light ticket, they charge him with that, and that's what happens. Everything else goes away. And then he gets mad at the red light ticket. He's not charged with manslaughter, DUI, negligent homicide, aggravated DUI, none of those charges. Just a little red light ticket. And then he gets convicted of that red light ticket because he threw away a plea deal, which would have been a diversion, which would have been driving school for that red light ticket. Then he gets convicted of it because he threw a hissy fit. And now a lot of people on the left are saying that this is a political prosecution. This is, or even some Republicans are saying this. This is stupid. What a stupid thing. What a stupid charge for him to get. Oh, what would you rather have? Nothing? Was that a better idea for you? Okay. Because I think they're living in the old world where the justice system was about justice. We don't live in that world anymore. Now it's about being operative against your political opponents. And so this is what we get out of a weaponized DOJ. If anybody on the right or the left is upset about the double standard of justice here, it should be about the DOJ not charging him with the things he should have been charged with, and in fact, covering up for him. Remember, Leslie Wolf called his defense team and notified them that they were going to go search a storage facility. The defense team emptied the storage facility, so they couldn't find any evidence of crimes. They waited until statute of limitations expired so that they couldn't bring those charges. Very convenient. Then they delayed everything from becoming public in 2020 to rig the election. They just said Trump is guilty of 34 felonies for falsifying business records because he was trying to conspire to steal the election. They're making that point right now. What is this? But Trump had a private deal, allegedly, with Stormy. This is a government deal. This is the DOJ, the FBI, and the CIA all covering up for this guy. So, okay, yeah, maybe the gun charges are unconstitutional. Maybe they are ridiculous and stupid. But what else do you want? Maybe we should ask our elected officials to do more other than just saying what the very little that we get is dumb. All right, so that's the verdict form signed by the jury, June 11, 2024. That looks like a female handwriting to me, so we might have had a female there. But anyways, names of the jurors are all listed here, and that's the verdict. Now, this is the exhibit list. So this is simultaneously what was filed today, the 11th, the joint exhibit, and the witness list. So here's all the evidence that came out against Hunter. And it was really hard to gauge this trial because a lot of what we read was not from a live tweet thread at all. It was all filtered through NBC, or the other one was CNN, because they were literally passing notes out the doors to report on the news. So we couldn't really get a good gauge of what was happening inside other than what we heard from Garrett Ziegler, MarcoPoloUSA.org, which is where you can get a copy of the report on the Biden laptop. And he was explaining to us that the media portrayal of what was happening in the courtroom wasn't exactly matching what was happening in the courtroom. And largely that the Biden family was scoffing and hissing and just upset about everything. Oh, I can't believe, it's ridiculous. And they play Hunter saying, I'm a crackhead. They go, oh gosh, and being very dramatic about the whole thing. And so we don't know what the jury was. We heard the jury was even emotional, sobbing and stuff about the emotions. Maybe they have addict family members or something. What's going on here? So we don't know. But here's some of the evidence that ultimately landed. And there was a treasure trove of evidence of criminality. But remember, Gordon Cleveland was a witness. He brought in photos of the gun, the cartridges, the speed loader all came in through him. Hallie Biden, we got the brown leather pouch and photos of the pouch. He's the one who got it, threw it away. Photos of the pouch by the chemist who analyzed it. We got the gun case and photos of the gun case from the gun guy. StarQuest emails, all certified by FBI agent Erica Jensen. All of these other things came in through her. So StarQuest, firearm certificate, summary of the messages from her. Erica Jensen had a bunch of the photos. All these audiobook excerpts, all of Hunter's excerpts from his biography. And Better Things audiobook, more things from him. AT&T phone numbers, cash withdrawal charts. Sidebar, this came in. Zoe Keston was the other stripper who came in, and we got photos from her phone. Gross. Hallie Biden, some more surveillance videos, bank account records, photos of the markets, and then the testimony of all of these people. This was basically the log of everything that came in that resulted in the guilty verdict. And so that is where it stands. Now, this was Hunter exiting the courtroom, the court building, now with 2 looming felony convictions on a gun crime. All right, so that's what it looks like. Let's go Brandon, or F Joe Biden, or let's go, what was that one? I couldn't really hear that clearly. But all right, so that's what it looked like. He was exiting, and we ultimately got a statement from him. So here is what that looks like. Hunter and his attorney both reacted. Here's their formal statements. They said, from the attorney, we are naturally disappointed by today's verdict, and we respect the jury process, as we have done throughout this case, and as we will continue to vigorously pursue all the legal challenges available to Hunter. Through all he has been through in his recovery, including this trial. Hunter has felt grateful for and blessed by the love and the support of his family. The same Jill that he called a C, that one? All right, Hunter said this. I'm more grateful today for the love and support I experienced this last week from Melissa, my family, my friends, and my community than I am disappointed by the outcome. Recovery is possible by the grace of God. Oh, gosh. And I am blessed to experience that gift one day at a time. All right, we called that this morning. We said, watch Hunter have this Christian rebirth. Watch it. And just like I doubt, and it's kind of bad for him to do that, but just like I have a lot of questions about his fake recovery, he tries to talk the language of recovery, and then there's crack at the White House, cocaine at the White House. Okay. So, you can tell when someone's kind of faking it. You're speaking language, but you don't understand. You can say the words, but you don't understand how the sentences and the concepts fit together. So we're watching Hunter come out for his Christian redemption arc. And say, get the hell out of here too. You're not welcome here. All right. I mean, I guess that's not very Christian, but you understand the point. We can see this caricature. They already tried to do this caricature of this recovered addict who's just fighting on this path of rejuvenation. So now he's going by the grace of God. Give me a friggin' break. All right. So that's Hunter. Okay. By the grace of God. All right. Everybody is ripe for forgiveness and salvation, I suppose, but yeah, right. All right. So Biden came out with this statement. He says, as I said last week, Joe, I am the president, but I am also a dad. Yeah. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. So many families who have had loved ones battle addiction, as I have, understand the feeling of pride seeing someone you love come out the other side and be so strong and resilient in recovery. As I've also said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal, which he will. Jill and I will always be there for Hunter and the rest of our family with our love and support. Nothing will ever change that. It's a good statement. That's a nice, fair statement. And you would expect Joe to pardon him, clearly, because that's what a father would do for a son on his way out. And I don't even think I would blame him for that. But that's just something you have to do, I think. And this is a statement that he has to make, so I wouldn't take much credence to it. It's an election statement that balances both sides of this. If push comes to shove on his way out, you don't think he's going to pardon him? Give me a break. All right, so we'll see. Yeah, it's a pure political statement, and it is something to take with a grain of salt, but I think a good statement nonetheless. It's standing by your son, supporting him in his recovery. Those things are all true. You do. And honestly, I want Hunter to actually recover. That would be good. I don't want anybody to be addicted. It really is hell on earth, and I wish him well in his recovery. But he also, it needs to be genuine, and it needs to, we can't keep having crack show up at the White House, cocaine show up at the White House, and no one give us an explanation for where that came from. When we've got this guy who's got a litany of rehab facility visitations throughout his life. Now, here is what happened. So this was an earthquake for Joe. We know that Joe was already depressed about this. We've covered many stories on this. Joe thinks about it all the time. What's going to happen to my son? And Hunter might be in some serious trouble because he's got another case coming up, and he's also got a criminal referral from James Comer. James Comer was going to send this to the DOJ, saying he should be charged with new crimes for perjury, lying to Congress, and other items. That's in addition to his criminal trial in September in California. So Joe is now shifting course. He says on June 11th, an update. The president will depart the Washington Hilton en route to Joint Base Andrews. The departure from Washington Hilton and the arrival to Joint Base Andrews will be covered by the in-town travel pool. Then the president will depart Joint Base Andrews to Wilmington, Delaware. And the departure from Andrews will be covered by the in-town pool. When he's over there, it'll be covered by the out-of-town pool. So his schedule changed pretty rapidly. And in fact, the press briefing got canceled. Karine was supposed to come out. We know she's not very competent about answering hard questions. And on this one, kind of like, who's she going to defer it to? Hey, Karine, what does the president say about or think about his son? I'm going to defer that to the president's office. That's you. Well, I'm going to defer that to my assistant. Well, no, you can't because you're here today. It's like nonstop. Well, who's she going to defer it to? So they just canceled it. They're like, oh crap, that's our question today. So she called in sick or something. Here's what the CNN says.
Kayla Tausche live for us at the White House. Kayla, we'll let you get to that press briefing that was obviously delayed by the president's remarks. It actually just got canceled.
Yeah, we just learned that.
Whoops.
Briefing canceled after the president's son was convicted.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break, I think.
Why don't you guys call her just a weak little coward, okay, who doesn't want to come out and answer any questions about it? They look at each other like they're dumbfounded right here. Huh. Wonder what that's all about. Co-anchor? Gosh, I don't know. Huh. Strange. Yeah, they don't want to answer questions about it. Obviously, that's that look. They just cut to commercial. All right, cut to commercial. Don't make any comments. So that got canceled as well. And Joe Biden, for some reason, was still speaking at a gun speech today. So he was here at this event, Every Town for Gun Safety. Students demand actions. Guns, something. Moms demand action. Stop now, guns. Okay, so here's Joe. And he's doing this little thing now where they're saying that you're going to need an F-15 to take out the government. And I'm not sure that's really a valid thing because of what happened in Afghanistan. Did they have a bunch of F-15s that I wasn't aware of that were taking out our soldiers all across Afghanistan or something? So anyways, point is, here's Joe trying to dement his way through another speech before he goes back to take care of Hunty.
I used to be when I was no longer the vice president, I became a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. Before that, I taught a constitutional law class. And so
no,
I
you didn't.
The Second Amendment. There's never been a time
you didn't do that.
You
no.
can own anything you want. Never. You couldn't own a cannon during.
That's not what the Second Amendment says. Yeah, it doesn't say you can own whatever you want all the time, always.
In the Civil War. No, I'm serious. Think about it. How many times have you heard this phrase? The blood of liberty. Wash of those. Give me a break. No, I mean it, seriously. And by the way,
he couldn't even finish the quote.
If they want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, well, guess what? They need F-15s. They don't need a rifle. Folks, look, this is crazy what we're talking about.
You're crazy, brother.
Because whether we're Democrats or Republicans, we want our families to be safe.
Okay, so that's the leader of America. Apparently, we're going to need F-15s to fight our government. Is he waging war on us now? Certainly feels like it, but you could barely understand what he said. And I don't think if you asked him to finish that phrase, I don't think he would be able to do that. Tree of Liberty, you know? Not really, Joe. What's your point? So, all right, that's him. And there was another scene from him. Let's see if this is a different clip. Yeah, there were some protesters there today. And here is what that sounded like. You got a little stumbly on this one. Almost sound like Joe here. Out of my heart. Sorry about that.
No. Folks, it's okay. Look, they care. Innocent children have been lost. They make a point. Come on now.
Thank you for honoring gun violence survivors.
All right, so that's Joe having a hard time. He's talking about gun safety at a gun safety event. His son just got convicted of a gun felony. Isn't that beautiful for America? What a country. So here is David Weiss. Now, David Weiss is in a weird position. This is the special prosecutor, so-called special prosecutor, which is outstanding because remember, he was the original prosecutor who was investigating the case. Then we had questions about his ethics and his interest of justice and whether he was committed to it or not. And so they just kind of shifted him. He was already the regular counsel. And so we said, there might be a problem here. What should we do about that? And they said, oh, we know. we're just going to make David Weiss the special counsel. And we were sitting here as just some guy in Phoenix wondering to ourselves, well, that's weird, because I thought a special counsel was kind of supposed to be like independent and separate from the original investigation so that they could have a degree of autonomy, so that they were not biased by the conflicts that were underlying and existing already in the case. That makes sense to me. But what do I know? I'm not Merrick Garland, So then Garland came out and says, no. All we have to do is just take his title that says U.S. Attorney Weiss and just put Special U.S. Attorney Weiss. And suddenly all of the conflicts are solved. It's like incredible. And they didn't teach me that in my law school, or I didn't read that in any books anywhere, but that's all that it takes. So then David Weiss, as the special prosecutor, after the whistleblowers came out and blew this lid on this whole thing, before this, he was trying to engineer a non-prosecution agreement, meaning no charges, cases resolved before a docket number is even created in the court system. Then the pressure came out. Then he created a red light ticket when he was overlooking a DUI, and then brought that forward in a deal that would have made those misdemeanors and go away. And Hunter rejected those. And because of that rejection, now David Weiss then had to play. So he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, trying to make this gray area immunity happen by offering that to Hunter in the plea deal. Judge called him out. They had to defend themselves against their own corruption. Now he has to play like he's a tough guy. So they got their conviction. But in my opinion, this was rigged from the inception. And you go back and you look up David Weiss, the guy's like friends with the Bidens, probably goes to the country clubs with them, who knows. But not somebody who's going to be adversarial, like, let's say, a Jack Smith special counsel who's investigating Trump. It's a totally different ballgame. It's friendly versus a pure blood sport onslaught wrecking American justice, which is how the Democrats play. So here's Weiss. We'll listen to him. It's like 3 minutes, and he's going to give us the same Trump propaganda. So they're going to try to parlay this into this no one's above the law stuff. And that's the moniker that they're going to try to use against Trump in 2024. What this is proving to us is that Hunter is clearly above the law. Joe Biden is clearly above the law. The Democrats are constantly above the law. But they are using this as propaganda to say, see, the justice system is equal. And all the Republicans out there who are delegitimizing this ruling are helping them.
My name is David Weiss. I'm special counsel.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Earlier today, Hunter Biden was convicted of 2 counts of lying on a form submitted to a federal firearms dealer about his addiction or use of crack cocaine and possessing a firearm while a user or addict. There have been 2 overarching themes emphasized by the prosecution during trial: this defendant's illegal choices and the rule of law. First, while there has been much testimony about the defendant's abuse of drugs and alcohol, ultimately this case was not just about addiction, a disease that haunts families across the United States, including Hunter Biden's family. This case was about the illegal choices defendant made while in the throes of addiction, his choice to lie on a government form when he bought a gun, and the choice to then possess that gun. It was these choices and the combination of guns and drugs that made his conduct dangerous. Second, no one in this country is above the law. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, even this defendant. However,
he's not being held accountable for his actions. This was a slap on the wrist, a red light ticket in a manslaughter DUI.
Hunter Biden should be no more accountable than any other citizen convicted of this same conduct. The prosecution has been and will continue to be committed to this principle and to the principles of federal prosecution in carrying out its responsibilities. I want to thank the jury for their service. There are few civic responsibilities more important than jury service. 15 Delawareans came to court each day and performed their responsibilities in a professional and conscientious manner. We thank them. I want to thank Derek Hines, Leo Wise, and the entire special counsel team. I am so proud of this group of attorneys, agents, and litigation professionals. This is a difficult assignment. These folks have been working 7 days a week for the last couple months, litigating a variety of issues in district and appellate courts on two coasts. They have given their heart and soul to this work. They represent the best that public service has to offer. I am incredibly grateful. Finally, I want to...
Oh my gosh. Okay. So they were all in on it, by the way. And I don't know much about the two younger guys, if they were just following orders from David Weiss, but Leo Weiss, the prosecutor, was trying to shield the same deal in court with Hunter. We were reading the transcripts. So, okay, all of them wanted this to go away. The reason they're working so hard right now is because Hunter shoved the plea deal back in their face and the judge scheduled a trial. They were all trying to just bury the whole thing. So I'm sure they've been working hard. Yeah, I'm sure they're really tired. Yeah, okay, great. It's mounds of evidence. They have more evidence than they'll ever need for 15 trials. They got the verdict that they should have gotten. And thanks for the glowing review.
Thank Attorney General Garland for providing the support necessary to fulfill our mission, ensuring that we have the independence to appropriately pursue our investigations and prosecutions.
Yeah, thanks, Merrick Garland, for appointing me to oversee this rigged prosecution and bring the lamest charges that I could possibly think of against the president's son.
As you know, we have additional trials and investigative work to be done. So I will not entertain questions at this time. Our work continues.
Yeah, we got another trial coming up.
Thank you for your consideration. Thanks.
All right.
Mr. Weiss, would you entertain a plea deal in the California case? I'm a witness to Joe Biden being a criminal in Air Force One. Air Force.
Hey, someone says, I'm a witness to Joe Biden being a criminal in Air Force One. Who's that guy? Turn the camera. Okay, so yeah, are you going to offer Hunter a plea deal in the other case? And is Hunter going to take a plea deal in the other case? I don't know about that. I mean, Hunter had a lot of bravado when he rejected that first plea deal. Do you think this is going to humble him up a bit and he may consider that? Who knows? So how'd the jury come to their conclusion? Well, one juror is out there making the waves on the media, was on with CNN, was on, I think, with Fox, all over the place. And this was one of the first I saw from the Daily Caller right after the verdict came out. This was fresh. So you can see 10:12 this morning. Juror comes out. He's like, I'm out of court. Who wants to talk to me? Here's my number. Send me a text. So here is what this juror sounds like.
I'll tell you, it was, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself. Like it was very sad that he was being, not that he was being convicted of these crimes, but that his life had turned out the way it did. So
was there a lot of discussion about that, or was it really just looking at what the prosecution and the defense laid down?
There wasn't a lot of discussion about his lifestyle. It was just the evidence that we were listening to. We didn't discuss a lot about Hunter's lifestyle. And like I said, it was very sad. And
what's sad?
When Haley testified, I mean that was.
He said it. Well, let him answer.
For me, that was a very sad time because I did not know that Haley also got addicted to crack.
Well, why would you?
So
and it sounds.
I really felt.
Yeah, why would you know that? Because you shouldn't know anything about the case at all. You shouldn't have really even known Hunter was addicted to crack before you came in, right?
Sorry for that.
Yeah, it sounds like from what you're saying is that you were in the belief that he was guilty all along. You were not in the camp initially who did not think he was, you thought he should be acquitted. You thought he was guilty. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what convinced you as you were assessing the evidence?
And on the sad thing, before we jump into this next question, I was wondering if he was saying that the conviction was sad. If so, why'd you vote for guilty? Or was it something that the situation was sad, which I can really relate to? I mean, you probably heard from a bunch of people like Hallie and Zoe who thought, this guy probably had some potential. This guy had a lot going his way as the son of a senator, the son of a vice president, could basically do whatever he wants, gets addicted to crack. Maybe he's got some charisma. I don't know anything about the guy, obviously, other than what we've seen here. But you never know what your potential is. And you hear that phrase that hell on earth is meeting the person you could have been. So a bunch of people probably realize that. And I think that that is a good motivator for anybody out there who is addicted or suffering. It was a big motivator for me to, hey, man, is this what you want out of your life? So it's a sad state of affair to see somebody wasting all of that away. And so I can empathize with what that juror's saying.
That he was guilty.
The majority, because the majority of the questions was he when he filled out that form at the gun shop, okay, and he listed no, he was not an addict. When it said, "Are you a unlawful addiction to drugs?"
Yeah.
Or are you addicted to drugs? When I first read the first one, and hearing all the evidence, I believed that he was, and he did knowingly buy the gun, knowing that he was a drug addict.
Yeah. Good, yeah, very reasonable.
I do understand.
And knowing that he was addicted.
Yes.
I do want to ask you just one quick question. There's a lot of talk about the jurors everybody knowing a Biden in Delaware. There's a lot of discussion about that going in. Did anybody have a personal connection to Joe Biden and the Biden family? Did that play into the discussion at all?
Not at all. The family was not at all.
Okay.
We didn't discuss. We didn't use Jill. We didn't use.
Good. Sounds like a good jury.
President
Shouldn't.
Biden. Like I was telling someone earlier, like President Biden never really even came into play for me because his name was only brought up once during the trial, and that's when it kind of sunk in a little bit. Oh wow, this is the sitting president's son who's on trial, and so that was kind of hard. And to know, okay, what the trial's about now. But you kind of put that out of your mind, and after it was brought up again, I did put it out of my mind. I never really put the two.
Okay, so all right, so that's what he sounds like. That's what the conversation is like. Sounds like the evidence was pretty clear. Jury did what the jury should have done. Based on the evidence presented, it was clear. It was a form. There's evidence that he's sending text messages saying, yeah, I'm on the hood of a car, blacked out on crack right now. That's where I'm at. Leave me alone. So, okay, yeah, that's kind of a problem when you're cracked out before you sign the form and you're cracked out after you sign the form and you're doing drug deals. Like, that's why you probably got the gun, because you're going around to shady areas to cook and make your own crack and buy crack. It's a precarious business to be in. So Hunter wanted to arm up. He's very smart. So that's what that was about. That's why they prosecuted it. And Trump reacted. Now, earlier on the day, there was a fake post that was being spread about, and we shared that on Locals. And so we're correcting that right now. This morning, we saw it from a bunch of legitimate accounts, but turns out it was fake. This is the real one. June 11, 2024, Trump campaign statement came out from Caroline Leavitt. Says this trial, this is the right take. This trial has been nothing more than a distraction from the real crimes of the Biden crime family, which has raked in tens of millions of dollars from China, Russia, and Ukraine. Crooked Joe Biden's reign over the Biden family criminal empire is all coming to an end on November 5th, and never again will a Biden sell government access for personal profit. Well done. Yeah, it's amazing. A bunch of other Republicans couldn't figure that one out. So, yeah, well done. Very nicely done. Yeah, fine. He got convicted. That's great. But it's just scratching the surface. Jury could see it. And this is a cover-up. I mean, they're actually covering up future investigations. They're going to say, how dare you investigate him, James Comer, Jim Jordan? What's wrong with you guys? He's already been investigated. And it's already concluded, okay? He's done his time. He's done his due diligence. So leave him alone. So we'll see a lot more of that. And Joe Biden now is going to also weaponize this as propaganda for his campaign And his little puppy out here, Andrew Weissman, who does a lot of his yapping on behalf of the Biden administration, is out saying that Joe Biden is now the living embodiment of the rule of law, which is just a wild. I mean, we hear a lot of sycophants on this show, a lot. We play this a lot from Weissman. But this is like level 11 out of 10. It's absolutely wild. All right, let's listen.
I'm less interested in the particulars of the case. This is a gun charge. The proof was overwhelming. I agree with your other panelists that it is rarely charged. In my experience,
yeah, because it was rigged. They picked a stupid jaywalking ticket out. Like, let me look through this book here. What's a dumb charge that nobody's ever charged, is probably unconstitutional, that nobody even cares about? I'm not joking. Okay, we used to do this all the time. Let me give you a quick example of how we used to do this. There are criminal statutes that cops will cite you with. So let's say in Arizona we have criminal speeding. It's a crime to speed over a certain limit. You get hit with a criminal speeding ticket. You try to plea that down from a defense perspective. You don't want it to be a criminal. So the obvious thing is you turn it from criminal into civil, like a regular ticket. Okay. But what if that's not good enough? What if you have a CDL and you don't want points on your license? So we have to figure out how to get around that without masking and all the things. The CDL drivers out there will know what I'm talking about. So what do you do? Well, a defense attorney who's clever might go through and find some other non-reportable local level statutes at a city level, or even an Arizona state level statute that's not reportable to the MVD because it's not codified as a moving violation. But maybe you can call it an equipment violation or something like that. And then you go to the prosecutor and you negotiate a deal. You say, look, I want you to cite my guy. Like, I want you to cite him with this. It's called an equipment violation. And it says that it's a vague, totally vague. Something is not working on the vehicle. How does that relate to a speeding ticket? Well, the driver wasn't working. The speed limit odometer wasn't working. The brake pedal was, I don't know, something wasn't working. The car wasn't going. Okay, prosecutor says, okay, that's fine. But your guy's got to pay a big fine or something else, or he's got to go to traffic school, whatever. And you can work these deals out. But obviously, like, no cop is charging the person with that offense, that original offense. That came from the defense. We go and find those different statutes and we say, well, how about this one? Prosecutor, I don't know what the hell that is. I've never seen it before. That's okay. Well, I would never give you that deal. Well, my guy will do this and 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 this. And they go, okay. Well, and you negotiate it out, but it saves them the points on the license. And you do that. That's just a traffic offense, but you do that all over the place. So that's exactly what happened here. And Weissman should know that because he was a part of the prosecutor's office at the DOJ. I don't know if he actually prosecuted anybody or did any trials or anything like that, but yeah, that's why this is not ever charged, because they went and found something stupid.
Over 21 years at the department, I never saw this kind of case brought. It would normally be somebody who was a felon in possession of a gun that would be charged. I'm more interested in what it tells us about the rule of law in this country in two ways. One, the son of the sitting president was pretty quickly tried. He was given due process and he was found guilty. And you have the current president, the father of the defendant, making it absolutely clear that he is not pardoning him, that he could have ordered at any time his Justice Department to get rid of this case. He did not do that.
Maybe
he has said that he is not planning on pardoning him as well. And I really think that if you look at this case, what is the big picture here? It's not a drug addict who possessed a gun for 2 weeks. It is that you have a president of the United States who is living embodiment of the rule of law, even with respect to his...
Okay. Joe Biden, who broke 234 years of historical precedent in order to prosecute his political opponents and has been orchestrating the whole thing, is a living embodiment of the rule of law. Has he looked at the border? Does he know what's happening down there? Golly. What about the Supreme Court? Remember when the Supreme Court came out and said, you can't do that with student loans? And he said, get the heck out of my office. Get out of here. I'm doing it anyways. And he's still doing it. He's just waiving the student loan. So, okay, that's Weissman. And he has to be joking with us, right? He can't be serious. Does he go home and actually talk to his partner about that? I don't know. Okay, so that was Weissman. Now, here's some other reaction from some people in Congress, and we got a couple clips. Representative Jason Smith, who is on the Treasury Committee, the Finance Committee, he said, let's pause and say shout out to our whistleblowers, please. If it were not for the IRS whistleblowers, yes, Ziegler and Shapley, coming forward to the Ways and Means Committee, Hunter Biden would have never faced accountability for the crimes he has committed, and he still won't for most of them. Today's verdict is a step forward towards ensuring equal application of the law regardless of one's last name. Yeah, so we're not done yet, but we are making some progress. So that's from Jason Smith. We've seen a lot of his work, so a little bit of celebration for him. We also had Caitlin Collins. She said Biden's going back to Delaware. Comer came out with a statement, says Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal was smoked out after scrutiny by a federal judge, Judge Norica. Today's verdict is a step toward accountability, but until the Department of Justice investigates everyone involved in the Biden's corrupt influence peddling schemes that generated over $18 million in foreign payments to the Biden family, it will be clear department officials continue to cover for the big guy, Joe Biden. Another good statement from Comer. Here's one from another individual by the name of Hunter. We had his statement, and Andrew Clyde said, Hunter Biden's guilty verdict is nothing more than the left's attempt to create the illusion of equal justice. Don't fall for it. Exactly right. They're going to use this. They're going to say, see, and they're also going to say, you can't continue to investigate him. It's all done. He's already been a special counsel, David Weiss, looked into everything. So leave Hunty alone will be the argument. And that is from Congress. So Trump and some Congress people have it right on the head. And Hunter now found guilty. Of course, there will be sentencing that comes down the line. And when that gets scheduled, Judge Norica will issue an order. We'll get that on the calendar at robertgovea.com. And we'll be covering what the sentence is. The question for you, what do you think is going to happen? Jail, no jail, probation? Are we going to see any home detention? Are we going to see a pardon from Joe after he loses the presidency on his way out of office? Time will tell. We'll be covering it. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it. And thank you for subscribing, my friends. If you enjoyed this video, we got another great one coming up. We'll look forward to seeing you over there. Would really much appreciate it if you shared this content, our channel, with a friend or family member so that they could see what's happening behind the scenes in these trials. We'll look forward to seeing you on our next video and right back here on the next one. All right, my friends. Now let's carry this forward and get into this one because we've got a document to attend to. And so let us do that right this moment as soon as we get this all queued up here, because I think we have that ready to go. All right, so this is another good one. Donald Trump's defense now filing a motion to dismiss, saying that Jack Smith and the DOJ destroyed evidence. It's gone, and it's important evidence because it's exculpatory, which means it would show Trump and his co-defendants' innocence if it were around. And now that the defense does not have access to it, they say the entire case should go bye-bye. They submitted this motion to dismiss in Judge Cannon's courtroom. And we know that previous motions to dismiss have been filed and already denied. It's very difficult for a motion to dismiss to be granted, but there are many attempts here, and these are all being etched into the record for an appeal. And you don't need all of them to be successful. You just need one of them. And this one is pretty shocking because it puts the defense at a serious disadvantage, one from which they cannot recover because the evidence is gone. It's been destroyed. This is a 29-pager. We love these. President Donald Trump's motion to dismiss based on the spoliation of evidence in violation of due process. Evidence spoiled, destroyed, and not accessible. We've got a nice table of contents that we'll fast forward through and see what the defense writes. President Trump respectfully submits this motion to dismiss this indictment and to suppress all evidence that was coming about based on the raid of Mar-a-Lago. Why? Well, the FBI destroyed important exculpatory evidence relating to the locations of the allegedly classified documents at issue. Footnote 1. They say some time ago on May 31st, Trump sought leave to file this motion. And the timing is due to a series of untimely disclosures. Why are we filing this right now? Well, here's why. Jack Smith just dropped off a bunch of stuff lately of exculpatory information and discoverable evidence that began in early May. So, Your Honor, we're bringing this to your attention right now because they just dropped it on us. They had it this entire time, but they just gave it to us. Now, the prosecution team, they tell us, that's Jay Bratt, that's Jack Smith. They destroyed exculpatory evidence supporting one of the most basic defenses available to Trump. In response to the politically motivated charges here, Jack has wrongfully alleged that Trump was aware of the content of the boxes. So Trump knew. He knew what was in them in August. He knew where those boxes were packed by others in the White House and when they were moved to Florida. So Trump was aware of what happened with them before they landed at Mar-a-Lago. Now, the fact that the allegedly classified documents were buried in boxes and commingled with Trump's personal effects from his first term strongly supported the defense argument that he lacked knowledge and culpable criminal intent with respect to the documents at issue. So remember, in any criminal charge, not any, but a lot, most, we have two elements, main elements of an offense, or two main components of a criminal offense. Crimes have various elements. We talk about those. But zooming out on the various elements, we have two big components, mens rea, actus reus, a guilty mind and a guilty act, two different things. So what we're talking about here are both of those. One, there was a guilty act, which would have been the movement of the boxes, but the movement of the boxes would have been with the guilty mind with the knowledge that there were classified documents in there, which is what makes it illegal. So Trump knew what was in them and why they were moved, and he wanted them even though they were classified. But what if Trump didn't have any idea what was in the boxes? Somebody's just in there just shoveling stuff in boxes. Hey, empty that drawer, empty that drawer. There's classified documents there. There's magazine clippings there. So Trump, that's a great defense. I didn't know what the hell was in any of those boxes. Is there evidence that might support that the government has in their possession that they did not give to the defense? Let's see. Any proximity between allegedly classified documents and other dated materials from years before the move, okay, so there were letters in there, there were newspapers, they would have further strengthened that argument. So you have a bunch of clippings, magazines, then classified, then other clippings, then classified. So the prosecution team's instructions to agents who executed the raid essentially acknowledged these propositions. So they said, yeah, it's true. If you find stuff like this, you got to hold it like in a sealed position. Don't taint the evidence. And directed agents to take care to document the location of both seized items and potentially privileged documents. But something's weird. The instructions to these agents were very clear, it sounds like, but FBI agents disregarded those instructions. The government was more interested in staging and leaking the manipulated photos, which we saw when they spread it out all over the place and put the classified cover photos on, than they were preserving the exculpatory evidence that's now been lost forever. So they just shook those boxes right on the ground. Now, the agents did not maintain the order of the documents. They did not take photographs that would have served as an alternative evidence of the documents and their sequence in each box. In July 2023, the agents disclosed this fact during a meeting with the prosecutors at Jack Smith's office. So they've known about this since July. And the Southern District of Florida was there. But the office did not timely disclose the notes from that meeting from almost a full year. They just gave them to him. Here you go. Oh, we manipulated the documents. Forgot to tell you. Indeed, they persisted in that suppression. They didn't tell us about it, notwithstanding that the notes were responsive to our discovery requests. We specifically asked about this, and they urged the court to rush to trial based on false assurances that they were in compliance with their discovery obligations. So in other words, Jack said, Your Honor, We're ready for trial. Trump said, no, you're not. We're not ready for trial. We haven't gotten any of our discovery materials that are in the possession of the government. We need this, and we need that. Jack said, we've already given you everything we have. There's nothing. Let's go to trial. There's nothing else to disclose. Turns out, oops, there is. Just last month in May, they said, oh yeah, by the way, we messed up your documents. We shuffled them out of order so you can't reconstruct them. Well done. And they just told us, Judge. In hearings during March and April, Jack Smith's office even misrepresented to Judge Cannon that a pre-raid sequence of the documents was intact. Only after an evidence inspection by counsel for President Trump's co-defendants revealed the extent of the problem did the office disclose that the documents were not intact as they claimed previously. They manipulated them out of order. Vague language in that submission and corresponding additional discovery demands from President Trump caused these due process violations to further unravel. Think about this like blood results in a DUI case. Let's say you get pulled over and a cop draws your blood. The blood vial needs to be sealed. It's properly contained. It is marked. It's not supposed to be tampered with. What would it be? What would it do to a DUI case and your faith in the analysis if someone opened up the blood vial and just kind of shook it around a little bit, just kind of changed the just opened it up and kind of shook it up, moved things around, maybe put it into a different vial, whatever. You don't know what the heck it does to that. Okay, now you've got contamination in there. Candida albicans is going to grow. We're going to have fermentation of alcohol. It's going to be all sorts of problems. That's just a manipulation of chemical evidence. You do that with anything. They're moving documents around, right? Why do they go into a crime scene you see on all the TV shows? Take photographs of everything. They didn't do that. I mean, they took some photographs, but they were manipulated. So we don't know what the sequence was. Or it's a DoorDash order and someone opens it up and just shoves your food around, mixes your mashed potatoes and with your peas and your green beans, just mix it up and puts it back in and says, here, eat it. You say, that's not the same. What? You manipulated my DoorDash order. Jack Smith's team just did all of those three things with Trump's classified documents. They're charging him with a crime for mishandling classified documents. And they're now just admitting it. That's how corrupt they are. So here's what the defense says. Okay, the Constitution required far more than Jack Smith's office and the FBI were willing to do. That is evident from the spoliation at issue here. Spoliation? All right, somebody will help me on that one. As well as from separate pretrial motions seeking to compel other important discovery. Suppress unlawfully seized evidence, remedy additional prosecutorial misconduct, and enforce the presidential immunity doctrine and the Appointments and the Appropriations Clause and dismiss the charges on the basis of selective and vindictive prosecution. Spoliation. Okay, to date, all right, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it. All right, we're going to have to do it. Turn to your neighbor and say...
Spoliation.
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 Spoliation. All right, I can never pronounce that word. All right, let's see. We go back to it. Turn to your neighbor and say spoliation. All right, good. Suppress unlawfully seized evidence and so on. Now, to date, the office's discovery obligations and ethical requirements have taken a back seat to President Biden's election interference mission. That must stop. For the reasons set forth below, the court should dismiss this indictment, suppress all of the evidence that came from the seizure of this raid, and conduct the fact-finding that's necessary. Let's hold some evidentiary hearings, baby. Let's get some witnesses in here. Bring them in here. So here's what the defense says. On August 8th, 2022, we remember that day vividly, the FBI carried out an unprecedented raid targeting the residence of Trump. Now, as the court is aware, the participants in this raid relied on a search warrant that's already the subject of a multifaceted motion to suppress because it was garbage. Now, prior to the raid, The government's investigative team designated a, quote, filter team that consisted of 3 attorneys. They brought in these knuckleheads, 1 from the DOJ National Security Division and 2 from the Southern District of Florida. They also brought in a squad supervisor and 4 special agents from the Miami field office. Now, this so-called filter team was responsible for the initial search and review of President Trump's office at the Mar-a-Lago 45 office, as well as the storage room referenced in the indictment. Thus, the filter team was just the tip of the spear for the government's raid, and as far as the defense can tell, they were the ones responsible for the initial search of every box, every desk drawer, and every other container at the office that the government unlawfully targeted, right? So it's this group of Trump raiders who are going to go in and just ransack, take photos of Melania's bedroom, Barron's bedroom, all the things. Then the rest of the team will come in. So prior to the raid, one of the filter team attorneys provided detailed instructions to the filter team. Says, hey, guys, I'm your lawyer. Remember, when you go in there, this is how this is going to work. Now, the instructions included the following. We have a footnote 3 that tells us that the exhibits submitted in connection with this motion have been redacted in a manner consistent with your prior rulings. And so we've done that. Now, the instructions included the following. So they said, okay, when you raid the Mar-a-Lago residence, follow my instructions. The attorney's like freaked out. If during the search of 45 office, the filter team identifies a document marked as classified that is commingled in a container, so there's a magazine and a classified doc, with potentially privileged materials, the filter team should document the location of the classified document, so where is it, photograph it, and the location where it was found, including with the commingled documents and the container. So it's not complicated. Where is it? You're going to pull it out. It's classified. It's got national security in there. So you're going to pull it out, replace it with a placeholder. Let's take a bunch of photos of it, and then provide the classified document to the case team so that it can be handled appropriately, right? That makes sense. Okay. Put a placeholder in there. You isolate everything so stuff's not shifting around. You put some foam in there. You seal the whole thing. The instructions also directed the filter team to be mindful of the fact that photographs taken by the ERT, the evidence response team, of any responsive materials in the office, including the location where the materials were found and any other commingled materials, may also contain privileged material. So your photographs could be a problem too. So those are the instructions. Let's see what these brilliant FBI agents did. Now, according to the government's return associated with the raid, so here's what we did. This is what we seized. The FBI seized 39, quote, boxes and or sets of documents that contain commingled items that are described in the attachment. That's what they said they got. They got 6 additional boxes that also contained potentially privileged items that were also commingled. Okay, so they're saying commingled here. Now, the filter team was responsible for the initial review as well as the unseized items at Mar-a-Lago. However, as discussed in more detail, notwithstanding the foregoing instructions, they were told what to do, the filter team made little effort, if any, to document the location of the seized items within a box or to maintain the order of the documents within the box that they searched. So they just opened up your DoorDash order and they just shifted everything around. They took a couple bites of things and they shoved it back in there and they said, here's your evidence. The FBI transported the 45 seized boxes to D.C. on the morning of August 9th. So they didn't follow the instructions that the lawyer told them to do. The reason the lawyer wrote those instructions is because that's the lawful way to do it, to preserve the evidence so the defense has an opportunity to review it. That afternoon, in an email that illustrates immediate concern about the filter team's failure to follow the instructions, the lawyer's like, wait, what? I put it in the document. Why aren't they listening to me? I feel you, bro. To follow the instructions regarding documenting the location of the seized items. An agent from the FBI's Washington field office sent an email asking one of the filter team agents to please call me ASAP. Oh, outstanding, right? It's exactly what we were just acting out there. He's like, crap, what are they doing? Call me ASAP, man. Exhibit 3, the Miami agent responded that another member of the filter team, quote, assisted me with what we discussed. It's too late. The other agent also has more updated information concerning where the documents were allegedly located. They're all trying to piece it back together again. Oh, crap. Where'd you pull that one out of? He's like, I think, it's like, you go to a library, you pull an old-fashioned library, you pull a book out, you're like, I have no idea where this came from. Like, oh, crap. You're like, Dewey Decimal System, what number? 670.0025752. 7054. Okay, there's 5. Where the hell am I again? What row? So it's just like that. And all the FBI agents are trying to shove the books back in the bins. Oops. The relevant proceedings now are as follows. On August 22nd, President Trump initiated the Trump matter in the Southern District of New York to protect his rights. Then the government responded. So Trump said, "How dare you raid me?" Then Jay Bratt and others, the government, they responded. So Trump got raided. He filed, "How dare you raid me?" Then the government responded, and they acknowledged the relevance of the location of the documents. So they said, oh, yeah. They argued that the location of the passports the FBI seized was relevant evidence because it was about national defense information. They also argued that the commingling of personal documents with the classified documents is relevant evidence. So they said, okay, it's commingled, so it's important. And third, they also said it was reasonable for the agents to remove intact files in connection with the raid, so that they admit that they did it. They admit that it's important whether they're commingled or not. And they admit that the location of certain items, like a passport, is relevant. So by their own admissions, all this stuff is critical. And they just messed it all up. This is good lawyering right here. Also, on August 30th, attorneys from the Filter team filed a report with the court. Now, despite detailed discussions of search procedures, the report did not describe the pre-raid instructions to, quote, document the location of the seized evidence. Nor did the Filter team's report disclose that the agents had failed to maintain the order of the documents as they rummaged through the boxes before they got to Melania's room. Much less that certain agents regarded the instructions they thought that they would have been impossible to comply with. So now they're backpedaling on this. Now, in October of 2022, in response to an order from the court and instructions from the special master, remember that entire saga? We had a special master who was appointed by Cannon, who was independently verifying that the DOJ was staying honest until she got overturned on that by the 11th Circuit. The government caused a third-party vendor in Virginia to scan unclassified documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. In September, an FBI agent called Agent 19 sent an email regarding planning for the project. The instruction included, quote, all classified placeholders must be removed from the boxes and replaced with generic spreadsheets at the appropriate level. So based on these disclosures, it appears that the FBI's handling of the classified placeholders may have even led to further reshuffling of the documents within those boxes. It also appears the FBI failed to document the scanning process until June 5th. So once the FBI even got their hands on it, they didn't handle it right at the first place. When the first sweep went through, they screwed it up. And then when the FBI got it back, they screwed it up again, which is just perfect because this is the key evidence. So post-indictment interviews. Now, beginning on July 11th, after the indictment was filed, a member of Jack's office and an attorney met with FBI agents. They wanted to discuss the execution of the raid. Now, there were entries in the notes. So here are notes from their meetings. It says filter searches. Uh-oh, look at this. Filter searches, ordered not preserved. Filter material pulled to front, top of box for DC to explore. You see what happened? Filter at some point started pulling class out and placed on top. Search team still went through every doc. So you've moved those banker boxes around. So you have some feds. You probably see these like at the record stores too. When you go to the records, you're like flipping through the records. Oh man, Nirvana. Sweet, man. Oh yeah, cool. So you're flipping through these records. Classified document. They pull it out. There's one. Set it right on top. Keep flipping through. Oh, what else? What else we got here? Okay. Oh, social distortion. Cool. Pull them out. Hey, what? Hey, pull that one on top. And you just keep flipping through all these different, records. That's not how it's supposed to go. Started pulling some out. Search team still went through every doc. Now, the notes refer to the need for a follow-on call with 2 other agents, but that has never actually happened. Now, as discussed below, Special counsel's office did not produce these notes to the defense. Oh, man, you're kidding. Not until May 23rd, over 10 months after the meeting occurred. So that's a pretty important thing. Ordered, not preserved. The filter team didn't follow the lawyer's instructions, started pulling classified documents out, placed those on top. So then after that, June 2023, Jack's office started to produce discovery. On September 1st, the office produced what they call their NARA box scans. Oh, we scanned all this stuff. Now, we understand that that is related to the so-called 15 boxes that Trump voluntarily disclosed to NARA. So he sent the boxes back, they scan them. On October 9th, President Trump asked Jack Smith's office to disclose, quote, all documents related to the execution of the search. They defined our documents to include this: notes, memoranda, reports, text messages, all the things. So in response to this request, so Trump said, we asked you for it, it's here in writing. Jack's office claimed, falsely lying, that it had already produced all the materials that Trump is entitled to. You already have it. Oh, you did. You gave us everything. You said that was in October 2023. Why are you just dropping this key evidence that was in your notes right now? Huh? Oh, because you're trying to cover it up. Yeah, in connection with the response, the office disclosed the operations order that is central to their pending motion for a gag order and an additional FBI photo log, but not all FBI electronic communications regarding the execution of the search, not the instructions to the filter team, and not the notes from the July meeting. None of that was disclosed. And they say, and in which the filter team disclosed that they did not maintain the order. So we got no information. Now, at least twice, Jack's office also misrepresented to you, Judge Cannon, that the order of the documents were intact. Twice. He told you that, Judge. They said documents were in the same order now as they were at the time of the raid. During a conferral with Jack's office on June 6, a week ago, Trump's counsel asked the office whether the order of the documents in the 15 boxes is intact. We asked on June 6, are they intact now? As of this filing, they have not addressed that question. Oh my gosh, these people. Now, on March 1st, the court conducted a hearing about scheduling, and in connection with the time necessary for discovery, the lawyer Stanley Woodward for Mr. Nada asserted that he needed to sit with Nada to review the contents of the boxes, including the documents as they existed in the box at the time there. Now, Brat said, so he says, I want to go look at the boxes. I want to make sure that they're in the exact order. So Brat responded, he said, wait a minute. The boxes have always been available for your review. That was in our first discovery letter to you guys, so you already have it. Now, Brat says, as I think I explained, the actual classified documents were pulled out and stored elsewhere, but there are markers as to where they're found. So it's been manipulated again. So on March 12th, counsel for Nada and De Oliveira reviewed the contents of the boxes. And when they were there during the inspection, the lawyers were advised misleadingly. Someone told them that as a result of the special master's review of the boxes, the contents may not be the same order as when they were seized. Wow, these pieces of garbage are now blaming the special master. No, we didn't screw it up. It wasn't the FBI or the DOJ. It wasn't Brat and those lunatics. It was the special master who screwed it up. In fact, the documents in the boxes are not in the same order as when they were seized, principally because the filter team made no effort to preserve the documents. So that's why they're messed up, not because of the special master. Now, on April 12th, this court held a hearing relating to the pretrial motions filed by the other co-defendants. Now, during this hearing, Brat made the following misrepresentation. He lied again. Court asks Brat, hey, Brat, stand up. Oh, sorry. Are the boxes in their original intact form as seized? Brat says they are, with one exception, and that is that the classified documents have been removed and placeholders have been put in the documents. Not true. Now, on May 1st, 2024, counsel for NADA joined a pending application for an adjournment, and counsel reiterated that the content of the boxes, including where documents with classified markings were within the boxes, is relevant to us. We need to see where they were. So let us come see the documents. Now, in a responsive filing on May 3rd, Jack Smith and Jay Bratt disclosed for the first time, despite being on notice of this fact since July 11th of last year, they just told Trump's defense that the filter team, quote, from their words, not ours, quote, was not focused on maintaining the sequence of the documents within each box during the raid. No, we didn't care about what order they were in. Who cares? Subsequent, even though they're making the point, everybody's been saying we need to know. Okay. Walt Nada's lawyers, Trump's lawyers, De Oliveira's lawyers. We all need to know what the order is. And then they just, well, we didn't care what the order was. I mean, they just tell us that like a month ago. Subsequent disclosures to the defense have revealed that the phrase not focused was at best a remarkable understatement. Yeah, they were not focused. You're right about that. That's true. Some filter team agents now claim that the task that they were instructed to perform was impossible. Like, no, we're not going to do that. Well, the lawyer said you had to. Well, we're not. Okay. So I guess that means you have no evidence because you've now tainted it. The special counsel's office also disclosed on May 3rd that the investigative team had removed and segregated from the boxes documents allegedly bearing classification markings, and they replaced those documents in the boxes with the cover sheets. But then in Washington, the FBI, quote, generally replaced the handwritten sheets with classified cover sheets annotated with an index code. So it remains unclear to an unacceptable extent what the office's generally qualifier was intended to mean. What is that generally? Did you do it or not? Well, we did generally. No. You either did or you didn't do it. Now, in an effort to, or if you did some, now you've really tainted everything because now some is legit and some is not. And you don't probably know. So in an effort to explain why some handwritten cover sheets remain in the boxes. So, okay, if that's how you're doing it, why are these still in here? Jack said, well, any handwritten sheets that currently remain in the boxes do not represent additional classified documents. They were just not removed when the classified cover sheets when the index code were added. Wow. So they also shoved in a bunch of unnecessary documents that are not even useful. We just didn't remove them. It's like, so, okay, now there's a bunch of additional stuff that you've tainted this with. The submission does not meaningfully engage with the importance of our email thread that removal of all classified placeholders and generic spreadsheets and a generic marking system be replaced. So they can't even explain what their own policies are and how they're supposed to be comporting themselves. In a further strained effort to explain the current composition of these boxes, Jack Smith also said this. He said, in many but not all instances, the FBI, not all, was able to determine which document with classification markings correspond to a particular placeholder sheet. Did you hear that? Jack Smith wrote that. In many, and we read this in a prior motion, in many but not all instances, the FBI was able to determine which document with classification markings correspond to a particular placeholder. So you pull a classified document out. These are the nuclear codes. You put in another placeholder. It's supposed to reference the nuclear codes. But apparently they don't know. So now that placeholder, it could be the Fauci's biolab, for all we know. Well, could be that. Could be the nuclear codes to Saudi Arabia. We have no idea. And neither does the FBI. Isn't that outstanding? The office made no effort to specify what many but not all instances mean for which that statement was accurate. And we still do not know with specificity what that office meant. Now, Jack's office finally acknowledged, that there are some boxes where the order of the items within that box is not the same as the scans. So they then scanned them so that they had a record, and then the boxes shifted again. Based on subsequent discovery disclosures about the filter team's approach to the raid, including notes from their meeting, it appears that some boxes, with the prosecutors reference some of the boxes are problematic. What they meant was not some, they meant all. That's what they really meant. So the office also relegated to a footnote the additional troubling admission that the current situation, quote, is inconsistent with what the government counsel previously understood. Sorry, Judge, we lied to you. And you're not shooting from the hip when you're telling the judge. Like, if the judge asks you yes or no, and you do not know, the answer is, I do not know. Did you give me everything? Yes, I did, Your Honor. And you didn't? Well, that's a problem, because you said you did. The office offered several explanations, but they failed to disclose the most obvious. As the office had known since July 23, but had not disclosed, the filter team did not even try to preserve the orders of the boxes at all. Instead of making that clear, they just dragged this out. They speculated in a misleading fashion. They said, well, there were instances where the boxes were accessed after the raid, and the size and the scope may have possibly led to the movement of items. Okay. Notwithstanding, the source of the problem was them, the raid themselves. And they suggested to the court that the order of the documents really didn't matter. Now, in response to all this, Trump wanted additional discovery demands. They said, we want everything. Okay, we think this is a problem. Give us everything. We want everything about the execution of the raid, communications, chain of custody, FBI general policies, whatever they mean when they say generally. We asked the office to identify the boxes that currently concede that are out of order. So tell us which ones those are. And after Trump sent those discovery demands, members of Jack's office interviewed the FBI. Now, it appears that the July 2023 meeting was conducted in a group setting. The office interviewed the agents individually in May. During one interview, a member of the filter team asserted that it was, quote, not practical to ensure that the documents' orders were maintained. Oh, not practical. Another agent claimed it would have been impossible to maintain the order. Not possible to maintain the exact order as when we first opened them. Similarly, FBI Agent 13 also indicated, he said, it's impossible to maintain the exact order. And FBI 13 said that she or he did not focus on maintaining the order, nor did she think even if she was focused on it. There's like way too many documents for these feds. They can't handle all that stuff. It's like lots of papers. FBI Agent 13 also disclosed that she had pulled documents with the classification markings from their location within a box and placed those documents on the top. She's the one pulling it out. Agent 17 told Jack Smith that he can't say with 100% certainty that everything was in the same order. He also said that an unspecified set of notes relating to the raid was in his desk in Miami, and he didn't even upload those to the case file. It's just a total free-for-all. Then they make late disclosures. On May 23rd, Jack's office responded to Trump's discovery demand. Although the disclosures are plainly relevant to the defense motion practice, they took the position that, no, we don't owe you those materials. They included the following materials, which are all listed here. Tons of different reports that they want to get. They also say, so Jack Smith is trying to say, I'm responding to you. In his 15th production, they also suggested that they were uploading this stuff, but no. They were not giving this to us. And so finally, with very little explanation, Jack Smith has refused to provide the details that we're asking for. We keep demanding for this, answers on all this. They keep coming back with vague claims. In response to this other request, we asked what boxes. They did not tell us. Okay, you know which boxes are out of order, so tell us which one. The office did not disclose the steps that they had taken, and they're just refusing to do so. So, Your Honor, there's a bunch of applicable law here, and you should penalize Jack Smith with failure to preserve these materials. These are exculpatory evidence. They violated Trump's due process rights. They failed to keep these documents in order. And this is important material. It's exculpatory evidence. Dismissal is the only appropriate remedy when they destroy the evidence that we need to defend ourselves. As the government plotted to raid Mar-a-Lago, it was manifest that the location of the documents within each boxes, buried and commingled, would play a significant role. Because for any charges, they would have to show that Trump was aware and that he had knowledge. Now, the temporal gap between the packing and the moving of the boxes to Florida by the third parties and the retention, all of this was important to them. That's why they put it in their search warrant. and they focused on the filter team. And now Jack Smith is withholding portions of the evidence and the material. Following the raid, Trump filed litigation. They knew that we wanted this stuff because they even admitted that commingled materials are important to know whether it's commingled or not. They acknowledged that it would require proof of Trump's knowledge that he knew about these materials. And so dismissal, now that we can't go to intent, is appropriate. Judge Deary also said it's bad faith. And they failed to preserve this useful evidence. They give us some case law. We do know that the boxes contained items like newspapers, letters, and dated long before Trump's first term in office ended. It would have been potentially useful and powerful in some instances for the defense to be able to use this proximity to show how long the alleged classified documents had been in those boxes. But due to the spoliation, however, there are no comparable means to present the most forceful articulation of this argument. And they did act in bad faith. A bunch of case law tells us what the standards are there. And we talk about animus. And since at least September of last year, Trump has called attention to Jack Smith's office. They are rushing to trial. They are recklessly pushing on behalf of Joe Biden. They're not complying with their discovery. They're not even following the Justice Manual. Now, all this is false. They make these allegations, but they're not. A lot of this stuff is being disputed, and had they actually reviewed this material, they would have produced these notes much sooner than they have. They're delaying, not giving us the materials that we asked for. If the case file had been reviewed as necessary, they would have produced these messages a lot more quickly. We can't just write off these untimely disclosures as just, oops, we just found it. No, they are delaying it on purpose. They keep using phrases like, oh, generally, and not focused on, in many but not all instances. They're trying to just not pay the bill. Remarkably, only after making written claims in May that compounded all of this did they individually go back and interview the filter team. And they admitted too, it would have been impossible to handle it appropriately. So they keep denying, they keep wanting to obstruct our ability to get our evidence. And so this is bad faith. And so accordingly, Trump submits this court should dismiss this superseding indictment and suppress all of the evidence that came from the raid at Mar-a-Lago based on the destruction of this very important exculpatory evidence and the bad faith the government has in keeping it hidden from the defense. Great filing, very thorough and enjoyable. Todd Blanche, Christopher Keese, the defense attorneys representing Trump there in the great state of Florida. And so we're going to be here continuing to cover this, my friends. A lot more litigation coming ahead. We'll see what Judge Cannon says about this as our coverage continues. We'd love it if you subscribe to our channel. If you haven't already done so, that would be amazing. And if you know anybody who might also have an interest in learning what's actually happening in these criminal prosecutions of Trump, we'd love it if you shared our channel and this video with them. We've got another great segment coming up where we're talking about Nancy Pelosi and a new J6 video. That's our next segment. We'll link you over there. We'll look forward to seeing you there and back here on the next one. All right, my friends. And speaking of Pelosi, let's get to it because, well, they're all liars. A new January 6 video shows exactly what we've all known. Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi are both big fat liars who have covered up the January 6 case and tried to create a political narrative to get rid of their political opponents. And new evidence shows the extent of their conspiracy. This new video came out from Nancy Pelosi that we had not seen before, where she admits that she was responsible for security as the Speaker of the House. The Senate Sergeant at Arms and the House Sergeant at Arms were responsible for the security in both chambers. Stephen Son, the former Capitol Hill chief of police, when he was there on J6, says he kept going to the House Sergeant at Arms, who reports to Nancy, and they were not allowing him to take action, to do anything. We also know that Trump asked Mayor Muriel Bowser to send over National Guard, and Muriel Bowser responded saying, keep your troops out of our city. So Pelosi is here now busted, admitting all of this. And let's listen to what it sounds like in this clip from Pelosi that just came out from the Oversight Subcommittee. They posted this from Congress saying, since January 6, 2021, Nancy Pelosi spent 3+ years and nearly $20 million creating a narrative to blame Donald Trump. New footage shows that on J6, Pelosi admitted, quote, "I take responsibility." Here is what Pelosi said in the aftermath of J6.
Have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin
Muriel
with?
Bowser said no.
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
that is not a question of how they had. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Wow, interesting. I take responsibility for not having them prepare for more. Yeah, well, yeah, there was a lot of security failures there that the J6 committee didn't investigate at all. Stephen Sun wrote a whole book about it, and it's incredible, actually. If you want to know a lot about that, I highly recommend it. But none of this came out, None of this came out. It was all Trump's fault. Trump, remember, when he was saying we should probably secure this place, they said, oh, why? So you could just seize the government? And then there's no security, and they say, see, you're trying to seize the government. You go, oh, gosh. You people. So when Stephen Sun was trying to figure out how to bring this situation under control, Nancy Pelosi was not there. She was in her car acting hysterical while her daughter or somebody was filming her. She was also playing this patty cake game with Chuck Schumer, where they're acting like they're leaders in a crisis. And it's really kind of hysterical to watch them and like if their kitchen caught fire, do you think that they would handle it appropriately? Or would they just start stabbing somebody or something? Who knows?
Why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility? A public statement, they should all leave. He is saying, his tweet said, we are for peace.
No, law and order.
Law and order.
Yeah.
Why don't you get him to make that statement? Would you do that? Will you ask the president to make a statement to ask them to leave the Capitol?
As he might guess, we're coordinating as quickly and as...
No. Please answer my question. Answer my question.
Senator, I'm going to do everything I can do.
Does that include asking the president to get these people who are followers of hers to leave the Capitol?
It reminds me of like high school kids. When something goes wrong, I remember being in those situations and like everybody's just screaming at each other. Interesting. So, all right, those are our two leaders. Now, Mollie Hemingway has done a great job on this, and the video shows exactly what we saw, that Nancy Pelosi was in fact responsible. And the transcripts confirm this. Mollie Hemingway at The Federalist wrote about this some time ago, completely vindicated. She put this back up. She says, here's an exclusive. Liz Cheney and the J6 committee suppressed exonerating evidence. Yeah, we know, of course. And now it's confirmed. Former representative, great piece from Mollie Hemingway at The Federalist, says that the J6 committee suppressed a bunch of evidence, and she got this from transcripts. Her committee falsely claimed, here you go, that they had no evidence to support Trump's official claims that the White House had communicated its desires for 10,000 National Guards. Yeah, they did. In fact, early transcribed interview conducted by the committee, Liz, had precisely that evidence. The interview, which Cheney attended and personally participated in, was suppressed from public until now, just like that video. Chief of Staff Deputy Tony Ornato, his first transcribed interview, this was the guy that was part of Clavicle Girl's fake story. In it, he told Cheney that he overheard White House Chief of Staff pushed D.C. Mayor Mark Meadows, pushed Mayor Muriel Bowser to get National Guard there. And they declined. He also testified that Trump had suggested 10,000 would be needed to keep peace for the rally. Ornato also described, which Liz Cheney never told us about, White House frustration with Christopher Miller's slow deployment of assistance on the afternoon of J6. So Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller, all these people dragging their feet, something bad happens, weird. Not only did the committee not accurately characterize the interview, they suppressed the transcript, didn't even show it to us. On top of that, committee allies began publishing critical stories of these conspiracy theories. Cheney frequently pointed to skeptics She said, we have all these transcripts and documents and so on. But the transcripts of fewer than half the 1,000 interviews are posted, and the others have been buried. And they deleted a bunch of them that the Republicans have not even able to get their hands on. So the subcommittee is finally now releasing some more videos, some more evidence. Mollie Hemingway vindicated on that one. And so Nancy Pelosi put down the tequila for the night and is now out in damage control trying to explain what the heck happened here. And she goes on with her favorite MSNBC host.
Why do you think this is stirred up and a brouhaha on the right and in some corners of the media today?
Well, because of the fact is that the President of the United States, the former president, and his toadies do not want to face the facts.
What'd you call us?
They're trying to do revisionist history on January 6th. But we cannot let us be dragged into their, again, false impression of what happened that day. They know what happened that day. They know how serious it is and was and continues to have an impact on our country.
Why didn't you secure the building?
And yet they want to call...
She's not even wearing an American flag. She's got a Ukraine flag on, not even an American flag on. It's unreal. What country is she representing?
All the people who were in there hostages. Last night I received the Lincoln Award. I was so proud of receiving that. And I said in my remarks, Lincoln built the dome on the Capitol. He insisted that it be built during the Civil War so that it could show the resilience of America. And to see these people coming through the Capitol with their foul deeds and foul actions, waving Confederate flags and Nazi flags under Lincoln's dome.
They were there.
Was so shameful.
Yeah.
And
HSI
yet this president who incited, this former president who incited this insurrection would not send the National Guard for hours. People were harmed. People were killed.
Yeah, you guys shot someone
one way
called
or
Ashley
another.
Babbitt with a gun.
And what did he do but try to deny that any of it happened? This is a terrible thing. But let us not take away the attention of what we need to do to go forward.
Nancy?
We have to unify our
Ukraine?
country. We have to bring people together.
You just called us toadies, lunatic.
In a way that honors the vision of our founders, the
just called us
sacrifice of our
toadies.
men and women in uniform, as well as the aspirations of our children. I just came back from
Ukraine.
D-Day in Normandy to see our veterans there. It was the 80th anniversary of it. Some of the youngest of them were 97, some over 100. They fought for our freedom.
Are you talking about the Ukrainians or the American D-Day? What are you talking about? Because you have a Ukraine flag on. D-Day was American. So I don't know what she's actually interested in or not. Okay, but that's Pelosi. She is trying to explain that we're all toadies, but we should be unified and just listen to them. And if we stopped questioning the severity of January 6th or really any alternative explanations for what happened there and question why the most secure, supposedly supposed to be secure building where all of our representatives were, all of our senators were for a very important day, how it was able to be overtaken like that. How is that possible? They're either incompetent or they're intentional. It's one or the other. And it's, who knows, but maybe a little bit of both. So Nancy Pelosi, an absolute liar. Liz Cheney, a liar. We know they were responsible for the security that day. They tried to blame Trump. They declined to create security that would have been reasonable and prudent. And now they're trying to shift the blame and exploit this situation for their own political ends. So we'll be here to continue to call them liars because that's what they are. And we hope you join us as we do. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, my friends. Thanks for liking this video. Thanks for inviting someone you know or love to come over here and join us because we'd love to see them here on our channel as we talk through this stuff and this news. We got a great segment coming up. Our first segment was all about Hunter Biden's guilty verdict. So if you missed that, that's coming up next. We'd love to see you over there and back here on the next one. All right, my friends, that is it for us on the day. We covered some good ground, and I'm grateful that you joined us as we went through it. Pelosi, a liar. Liz Cheney, the same. FBI destroys exculpatory evidence, very important to the Trump defense. We'll see what Cannon does about that. And the big news of the day, Hunter Biden is guilty for a stupid red light conviction style shiny object charge so that nobody asks about the other things. We'll see if they do or not. But now, my friends, it's time to hear from you. And of course, as soon as we're done here, we're going to hang out over at watchingthewatchers.locals.com for our members only after party, where we like to debrief for our membos. We also do streams in the morning, including this morning we had a stream, and Jay Water, Roadless Wolf, was asking about this morning and asked for a poll. So we put a poll up on the morning chat for the Membo chat. Hunter sentence. Do you think he does no time? Do you think he gets a pardon? Or do you think he serves time? 42% said no time. 31% said pardon. And 27% said serve time. What's up? Bobsco's in the house. Bobsco gifting a Membo to Trena C. What a beautiful match right there. Thanks, Bobsco, for that one. Milo Phone Bill says, be sure to share the Biden's influence peddling timeline from Milo Phone Bill. We got Tony Hay Munkets gifting us 5 new membos. Welcome aboard, Carolyn H. Mainer's in the house. Charles G. Francis W. And Freeman Jack in the house, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets, bringing in 5 new membos. But not just 5, 10. Tony brought in G. Usury. Thomas C. Bliskin is in the house. Nicole B. and TJ Hartley all coming in, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets. We love new membos. And welcome aboard to 5 more, courtesy of Waldo. Sally M. Archangels, Charlene A. Randizzles joining us, and Ryan in the house, all courtesy of Waldo. Very nice to see you, Waldo. Hey, what's up? Rob, did you see Good Logic's stream on the YSL trial? Yeah, I did not see his stream, but I saw the story. Ego judge put the lead attorney in jail for contempt. Ashley Merchant was in the house to instantly represent the counselor. Good Logic going for 100K. Yeah, heck yeah. So my friends, if you're not already, I mean, come on, you probably are. But if you're not, Good Logic also has some amazing, highly intelligent, very humorous legal analysis on his channel. And give him a follow over there. Let's push him over 100K if you're in the house. That would be amazing. So, no, I did not. It's a wild scene there in Georgia. And I would encourage people to watch it. It's wild. We're probably not going to be able to get to it here. So it's awesome that Good Logic's covering it. I'd encourage you to go check it out. It's wild. And shout out to my defense attorney brothers and sisters out there, including Mr. Steele, for standing up for his clients. Like a real hero dude. Awesome. What's up? Goofy for Jesus. If Hunter's case goes to SCOTUS, will it be Biden versus Biden? Yeah, you might be right. Yeah. You have some situation like that. That would just be incredible. Hunter is the poster child for the Second Amendment. What's up? Knox is in the house. Says, happy Tuesday, all. Knox, the defense attorney in Texas, says, I'm happy you had a good trip, but I'm selfishly glad you're back, Rob. My circadian rhythm was off without the evening stream. Yeah, I know. I get off too. I lose track of I'm like, what day is it? We didn't stream today. I get all weirded out. I feel you, Knox. It's good to be back. It's good to be home. It's good to travel, get out and about and see things, but it's always good to be home. And good to see you, Knox. Happy Tuesday. Jackie C. What's up? Membo for 14 months in the house. That's a year plus some. Says, thanks, Rob, for all you do. You make all this mess fun. Thank you, Jackie. That means a lot. You do too. You make it a lot of fun. Like I said, I'd be miserable if I had to go through this alone. So I'm glad we get to go through it together. And 14 months of it, Jackie. Many more to come. Thank you for being a Membo for so long. Awesome. We got this one from Northern Lights. What's up? Membo for 1 month. First month's the hardest, Northern Lights. It gets easier from there. Happy to be a member here. We're happy you're here too. We'll see you next month, I hope. Rob says, can these felonies be used to keep Hunter's other crimes alive? Well, the other crimes are currently being prosecuted, so I don't think that will change. I don't think they really matter. In other words, his current conviction it could aggravate the sentencing on the other felonies. It could cause other people to think, see, there's something there. So maybe the other cases that they're investigating are stronger. But I don't know that this necessarily brings in new charges or something. What's up, Jeffrey A. Says, Rob, am I correct that the tax charges against Hunter for failure to pay taxes are a result of the monies paid to Hunter and Joe as bribes from Ukraine and China? Lenny Malley says, yepers. Yeah. Is that right? I don't remember reading that indictment recently. Money's paid to Hunter and Joe as bribe. I don't think so. I think it's just he's not reporting income, and he's not like he's paying taxes on sex clubs and stuff like that, or not paying taxes on sex clubs and stuff like that. Is it directly related to Ukraine or China? I'm not sure. We got to reread the indictment. I don't remember Jeffrey Adams is the real straight answer. I don't remember. We have to reread that. That trial's not for September, so I have to remember what the underlying tax violation stems from. John L. says Joe cannot let him be locked up, or Joe would have to file bankruptcy and empty his pockets. I think Joe would also have a breakdown. He would definitely pardon him. If he's going to prison or something, he's pardoning him immediately. He's not going to wait. Sheila P. He will pardon him on November 6th, right after the election, or right before he leaves. I could imagine a January 19th pardon, which I think is basically what Bill Clinton did with Mark Rich. Hey, what's up? Michael Manson in the house. A year anniversary and then some. On our way to 2 full babies. Says, I would love to see Trump investigate Pelosi. Oh, yeah, clearly, yeah. Yeah, everybody related to the J6 committee and the conspiracy against rights of the American people. All sorts of obstruction, all sorts of corruption charges. I mean, it's through RICO. Hit them all with a RICO case in Fannyland. Whatever. It's fair game. Let's go. Voice of the people. Membo for 15 months in the House, another year and then some. It's the Tree of Liberty. What's the rest about the tomato soup of patriots? Was that a threat? Yeah, I don't know what Joe was saying. He got a little agitated there, and he's a confused man. I guess he's going to nuke us with F-15s. Yeah, so Sheila says, so the government is coming after us with F-15s? I guess. The next time we refuse to get mandated, we, I guess, are going to get struck with some Hellfire missiles or something. Glocky's in the house. Says you can literally buy artillery pieces and have them delivered to your home. I'm sure it sounds like a fun website. Goofy for Jesus says we actually can own a cannon. I just looked it up, LOL. Yeah, what kind of cannon? This is America, okay? We should be able to own cannons if we want some. Glocky says you can buy used fighter planes and you can have them delivered too. Yeah, here's one. Hey, you got $1 million? All right, my friends. We have a new super chat goal. $975,000 here. We'll see if we can hit that tomorrow. Then we'll go buy a fighter jet. And we'll make America great again. Glocky McLock says you can buy used warships too. All right, how much are those? Probably more expensive. Oh, gosh. Hey, Glenn. What's up, Glenn? GE in the house. 5 membos coming in, courtesy of Glenn. Says, hey, Jay Calibeals is coming in. Adam's here. Stephen K in the house. And Michael B, all gifted membos, courtesy of Glenn C. Thank you, Glenn, for bringing in 5 new membos. This one from Sheila P. We got 10 membos coming in. What's up? Brian R's here. Amicdom. Heavy G in the house. Anonymous. What's up, hippie? James B. Stop sniffing kids, Joe is here. Jason F. Laura, what's up? Rick O'Shea. We got Michael L. And shout out to Muffin Rando and all of our new membos, courtesy of Sheila P. Bringing in new membos. Thank you, Sheila, for doing that. Here's one. From Thomas W. says, cannons are able to be owned by civilians. I've been the number 2 on a team, aka worm guy, on a dangerous end of the gun. Well, that sounds awesome. Yeah, so what do you like to do for fun? Shoot cannons? Wait, what? You're my new best friend. Let's go hang out. Hey, what's up? Jennifer's in the house. Says, Rudy Giuliani has been vindicated. Hashtag Rudy was right. And which one was that on? Is that on what we saw today about Pelosi being a liar and Liz Cheney making up material? Hey, voice, did I miss something about Rudy? On which case? I thought he just appeared in Arizona. I think he just got his mugshot taken today. So prayers out for Rudy. We got this one. Pope Rackets touched me. Oh, no. Member for 11 months. That's almost a full year, Pope Rackets. Grateful to have you for a full year. Says Hunty convict plus appeal win is greater than the GOP Congress does for the second A, LOL. Yeah, that's a funny one. Yeah, so Hunter Biden's going to be the hero of the Second Amendment once his gun charge gets overturned by SCOTUS. And all these Republicans in Congress are like still playing around with their pea shooters. Hey, MAGA hat stays. Says, where are the Trump jurors? Did they feel sad and it was a big deal for them, all the Trump jurors calling in? I just felt so bad for Trump. Yeah, where are they? Why did they talk? Interesting, huh? Hey, Chris E. What's up, Chris E. Says, it'd be a boss move for Trump to say he'll pardon Hunter. take him under his wing as a stipulation. I believe Trump when he says, our success will be our revenge. Got to sleep for work tonight. Thank you so much. Good to see you, Chris. I think that's an interesting comment. Yeah, Trump could come out and say, hey, look, addiction's a terrible thing. That's why I've never drank alcohol, ever. And I think that a lot of addiction in this country is a problem, and I think we should lead by example and live lives of sobriety and diligence, and we should make America great again. And I will hereby vow to pardon Hunter so long as he stays true and in honest pursuit of his sobriety. When I make America great again, we're going to make addiction gone again. Something. All right, from Chris. Good to see you. Penny W. What's up? Nurse Penny over on Rumble. She's got a Rumble channel called Nurse Penny. You should check it out. Joe Biden is the living embodiment of the rule of law, like Anthony Fauci is the science. Good comparison there. Right, which means they're both not the thing at all. They're just liars, I guess. What's up? And much worse. Hey, what's up, Stephen H. says, on the show, the show, Robert, are you following the Young Thug trial? Or our girl, Ashley Merchant, strikes again. See, I did see it. And it's wild. Yeah, she is the Merchant Destroyer. Excellent work. It's a wild scene over there. And the judge just, maybe we'll talk about it during a segment tomorrow or something, but the judge also issued another order. He's trying to figure out who the leaker was. It's crazy times. George is just a mess. Hey, what's up? Hey, it's the Munkets in the house. Bringing in new membos. Says Bat Lady's coming in. Chris N is here. Welcome Andy H, Grant R, and Mark U. All gifted membos, courtesy of Tony Hay Munkets in the house. Knox is here. Says evidence should be photographed where it is found. Then all those little yellow number tags come out before the evidence is bagged. And then the whole scene is photographed. Only after all that is the evidence moved. Unless you're the FBI, then you just do whatever the hell you want. No one cares because you're a Fed. So, yeah. Zach, what's up? I'm late, but strapped in for this roller coaster. Good to see you, Zach. It was a good one. We had some good stuff today. Stop Sniffing Kids, Joe is here. Love the show, Rob. Thanks for the gift. What's up, Stop Sniffing Kids? Hopefully Joe's watching. Cowboy Rob says, hey, Rob, you being a lawyer at all, have you found yourself going, God, I wish I was a lawyer on this case, just being able to argue it? Yeah, not on the Hunter Biden case in particular, but yeah, certain other cases. I would say, yeah, I would say that honestly, the Derek Chauvin case, I was jumping out of my seat on that one. On that one for sure. And then the other federal cases, I think Trump's defense have done, I think, yeah, that's probably the one that stands out the most is the Derek Chauvin case. But I don't think that was bad lawyering per se. I just had a lot to say on that one. Yeah, anyways. What's up? Like that one, I don't know that you could have changed the outcome on that. I think if that trial would have happened in another time, like if that trial happened right now, he might be acquitted. But it happened in the middle of the summer of love. So Derek Chauvin, even though he's a cop and probably not one of my, like I wouldn't enjoy probably having a dinner with that guy. Maybe I would, I don't know. But still shouldn't have been convicted for a crime that he did not commit. George Floyd was not murdered by him, in my opinion. Cowboy Rob, what's up? Nate's memes. Joe will get him off. There's no way he'll let Hunter get locked up. He's more fragile than a wet roll of Charmin and not even worth it. What's up, Nate's memes? Good to see you. MAGA Hat Stays says, what happened to your arm? Hematoma. Yeah. So I was at grappling last week, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I think I probably caught a knee. I think that was just a knee. It's going away. But I'm going back tomorrow, so I'll get some new ones. What's up? Sketch Therapy in the house. Membo for 1 month. It says, accuse your opponent of what you're doing, which is what Alinsky does. Joe's Docs. Good to see you, Sketch Therapy. Thanks for being a membo for 1 month. First month's the hardest. EO just became a supporter in the house. Welcome aboard. We'll see you tomorrow for our membos only morning stream. Chubby's in the house. What's up? Says government to English translation. So generally equals kinda, sorta, no, not really. Here's one from Knox. What is this one? The Filter Crew. The Filter Crew. Here's an image. I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. But that's the Filter Crew. A lot of filters. Oh, the Filter Crew. Got it. I thought you were talking about like photo filters. I see. That's the Filter Crew. The FBI Filter Crew. They're going in there. Yeah, it's a party. classified documents everywhere. Hey, what's up? Spuds is here. So XRP Panic was gifted a membo from Spuds. Welcome. Zancy Pelosi also got one. Ricky Bobby in the house. Ramrod Mayo and Paw from EP all gifted membos courtesy of Spuds. Thanks, Spuds. A Nate's meme says Pelosi, Obama, Hillary, Schiff, Joe are the enemy within the country, the political enemies. Don M, welcome aboard as a new supporter. We'll see you in the morning on our membos only stream. We got this one from Chubby Stubby. Says Pelosi says people were killed or died or something. Trump. Here, this one from D. Gillis. What's up? Says, hey, 2.3 thumbs up. Hit that like button, please. We love you when you hit that like button. It really makes us feel happy. ELZ says, Flip Hunter 2025. Flip Hunter 2025 from ELZ. This one from Muffin Rando says, McAfee plows through and ignores the stay. Yeah, that's absolutely true. He did do that. And that was a strange verdict. The Trump trial is on hold unless you didn't join the appeal. Then your case is not on hold. And even though Fannie Willis might be disqualified, makes no sense. What's up? Rocky Water in the house. Says, great stuff as always, man. Thank you, Rocky. Says, today's tip is a shameless plug and a shout out to Ashley Merchant and her GACDL Strike Force, the Georgia Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. They're on the front lines of watching those watchers. Cheers to them and their ilk, I say. Yeah, shout out. She showed up right there defending Steele. It's a wild scene. Not something that you see often in the practice of law, that's for sure. We got Geegum Geegum in the house. Yeah. This is your boy. This is not a meme, okay? This is not a meme. This is an actual photograph. Not many people have it. Geegum has it. So I have that in the closet. I'm going to be wearing that to Vegas. So make sure you come to Vegas. It's going to be great. Yeah, it's the real deal. And I'm going to grow my chest hair out a little bit more too. Las Vegas, here watching the watchers comes. Wish I was. Oh well. In heart, I will attend. Smash the like button, everyone. Thank you, Geegum. And Geegum, very nice dono on that one too. And thanks for finally sharing the photo. Finally shared it. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll definitely save that one. From Geegum in the house. Man, looking good, baby. Looking good. Looking good. What do you call him? The king? Something? All right, so I can't wait. What's up? Cowboy Rob says, okay, now isn't misleading the court perjury? I don't know if I'd call it perjury. I would say that's probably a different offense, but yeah, it's not. You have a duty of candor to the court. You cannot be misleading the court. I think it'd probably fall more into an ethical problem and maybe an administrative problem, like the judge would hold you in contempt under the administrative powers of the court, not necessarily refer you for a criminal charge of perjury type of thing. But yeah, it's wrong. It's not lawful either way. What's up, Cowboy Rob? Thanks for that one. And Dolphin Fan is the man sent in another one. Says, hello, Rob and watchers. Says, Trump said he had a brother who was alcoholic, and that was the reason he never tried alcohol. Yeah, I know that story. It's a powerful story. And I was still drinking when Trump got elected, and then I stopped drinking. And that was a good thing. And I'm happy about that. And I think Trump may have had some impact on that. I don't think it's a critical impact, but I remember thinking in my drinking career, wait a minute. I remember hearing him say, I've never had a drink of alcohol. And I thought, wait, what? He's like a billionaire playboy with all these women and Playboy model. I never had a drink. It kind of hit me. I was like, what? Well, that's pretty interesting. So, what does a life without alcohol look like? Pretty curious. So I hope that other people who might need that message hear it at the right time when it's appropriate for them. But okay, my friend. So great comments, great donos. Dolphin Fan is the man. Thanks for sending that one in. We forgot yesterday to say hello to our ex-friends. I apologize about that, my friends. I was all discombobulated because I was not at the home base yesterday. But let's say hello to our ex-friends on the day before we wrap it up and head on over to locals to see who's joining us over there. We got, what's up? No offense, says San Fran Nan's J6 Coverup And that is the least of today's news, I know. Hey, what's up? Sorry I missed you, says Jim. Glad you made it home. We'll catch you at the Trump Tower meetup. What's up, Jim? Jim's coming. Okay, so we got a bunch of people who are coming, and the directory is getting a little bit fuller by the day. So if you haven't gotten your ticket at watcherlodge.com, go over there, grab it. Watcher Lodge Community Meetup. When you go here, and you sign up, you're gonna get this Vegas Meetup Pass badge on your profile. And then here's the agenda. And we're planning on a Sphere show at 9 p.m. Totally optional. And meet and greet, some presentation, some conversation. It's going to be great. So grab your ticket, buy it. It's $100. It's going to cover all your food, all your drinks, and some meatballs from Mama G if you want them. So we got that coming up. And we have a bunch of people who are coming. Quick shout outs to who's on the list. What's up? Michael T's coming. K Bean's coming. Kathy Z's in the house. Leanne. Charles R's coming. Mama G's coming. David P. Sheldon. Sergeant GPS is coming. We got C. Reed's mom is going to be there. What's up? Nick S is coming. Christine S is coming. What's up? Carrie P. Ann F. Clifford. Oh man, it's going to be great. Hey, Clifford has a picture with Viva and Barnes. Oh, it's going to be great. Okay, cool. Crash is coming. Bonnie's coming. We got Joey's coming. I mean, Robert, Daniel. We got a lot. And if I missed you, I apologize, but you know who you are. We got a bunch more people coming. Zutral, Linda Lee. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. So check it out. Grab your tickets and come and join us. So I can't wait for that. All right. What else? So let's see. Danny Archer's in the house with a couple of links. Joey Franco is sharing some stuff. Phil Reno says, did the leaf blower guy get your left? I think it was a knee. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It looks like a knee, doesn't it? A knee or an elbow or something. I don't know what it was. Not good. Both informative and entertaining. Thank you, Kathleen. Sharon the Patriot. Yeah, Jim says Trump's brother died of alcoholism. Is your caps lock broken? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. And Linda says, why wasn't Bo's wife charged? I don't know. Yeah, good question. Probably because she was a cooperating witness for the government. Good to see you, Sharon the Patriot, and our other ex-friends. Thank you for saying what's up over there on X. We are going to go over to watchingthewatchers.locals.com before we wrap it up and head on over there. We want to thank our mods and our meme smiths for keeping this train on the tracks as we go live. Our friends K Bean in the house, Just Cause, Playing Hooky. We got Ronnie Cole, Zach Nichols, Janek, Dog Digger, Economy Pilot, Donut Mind Me, Carrie B, and Zulu modding the fort down for us, along with our meme smiths, Sleepy Dog Lee, Nathan N810, Geegum Geegum, with the photograph of your boy. We also have Glocky McLock and Elliot, our doc master, all modding and memeing down the place for us, and we're grateful for that. But my friends, that is going to be it for us on the day. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a very packed day. We are going to be back here tomorrow to get into it again. And in order to do that, we're going to need to see you right back here so that together, with your help, we can shine that big, beautiful spotlight of accountability and transparency down upon our system with the hope of finding justice. Make it a beautiful night, my friends. Sleep very well. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.